Hey, it's Jill. I am getting another video out, and I'm sorry it has taken so long. I'm also in the process of writing a book, but I wanted to share one of my other experiences that I have had. This experience I'm about to tell you about is one that I honestly didn't think I'd make it out of, and it changed my life forever. And you will understand why. I used to work in New Orleans as a dancer. I was on drugs. Gotta admit the truth. I'm not now. Obviously, I've had several years clean. But at the time, I got off work at about 4 in the morning, and I know not to go into the projects by myself, but I did it anyway because there's a couple times that, it was pretty easy. Nothing weird happened. This particular time, and I was saving up money to get back home to my son because I had a visit with my son, and was saving up money for that. And anyway, of course, I had a really good night at work, and what's a junkie wants to do? She wants to get high and party afterwards. So I go there looking for heroin, and I sat my bag down to try to get my money out, and all these people, all these black girls came out of nowhere and ran off with my bag. My dance bag, my money, my everything. Everything was in that bag. And then I got a gun pointed to my head and was told to get inside. And all of a sudden I had a ton of black guys around me as well. I was taken. I'm guessing it was an abandoned apartment or whatever, because they kind of had to kick the door in and there was no electric. There wasn't anything in there, except like some raggedy old bed somebody left behind. Or maybe that's where they take all the people that they kidnap. Who knows? Anyway, they put a gun to my head and they forced me in. And from there, they tied me to the bed. Well, they stripped me of my clothes, tied me to the bed, and raped me repeatedly. And that's not even the worst part of it. They were shooting drugs in me to keep me from trying to get out, to keep me so screwed up that I couldn't even think of a way to get out. The guy that had the gun to my head, he started to collect money at the door from all these other guys to come in and rape me. This went on for a couple days. I knew I was fixing to die. I've never experienced anything like that, and I still have problems dealing with certain situations that might remind me of that. They sodomized me, raped me repeatedly, smacked me around. I was only allowed to get off the bed to go pee, and they would have to walk me in there, and they had guns. Luckily, after a couple days, I guess that got old. I don't know. I'm glad they got bored with me. And the one guy that started it, that had the gun, he fell asleep. And at first, he told me to go up and take a bath, get cleaned up. I come down, he's asleep. What do? I grabbed my stuff and I ran. And, I was just waiting for a bullet to hit me in the back of the head or the back. If somebody, if he had woke up when I walked out the door. If anybody who had been there previously had seen me. But God got me out of there. That's the only way I can. I shouldn't have been there. I know. But that stuff happens all over the place. And and I saw on the news a few months ago where there was a girl walking down Bourbon Street and a guy in a truck came up beside her and grabbed her. So it's still happening. And most of they were animals. I don't understand how they can treat people like that. And this is a hard thing to get over after days of being raped and sodomized and beaten. But I got out. First thing I did was I called my daddy. He said he could help me, get me out of town. He was going to get me a Greyhound bus ticket and to go to the bus station. So I walked all the way across town to the bus station, and there was no ticket waiting on me. And so I called, and that's when my dad had to use tough love. My stepmom said, no, sorry, because I had lied in the past about being mugged, the reason why I couldn't pay for something. Which, yes, those were lies, because I was a drug addict. But this one, and I thank him now for that tough love, because that made me go, okay, Jill, what are we going to do to get out of this? Come on, let's think about it. You got to get out of this town, because they knew where I worked and everything. And anyway, it started raining. It was raining pretty bad. And I had no umbrella. I had on some ripped up clothes. I looked like crap. They took my dance bag. I couldn't even go make money to try to get my own bus ticket. And I don't know. I went and talked to, several people, but no luck. So I sat down on the side of the road, crying my eyes out, because I knew, I have done screwed up. Nobody's here to help me. What am I going to do? And I prayed. I'm sitting on the curb in the rain. I probably look like a hot mess. Well, I know I did. After what I'd been through. And this guy pulled up on the side of the road as I was praying. Asked me if I needed a ride. Of course, I'm like hesitant, after that happened to me. But I looked up and I said sarcastically, yeah, I need a ride back to Arkansas. And he said, why? And I told him. He said, get in. So I got in. He took me by my place, got what we could fit in his car, and he got something to eat. He brought me home, but he brought me back to my mom's house, and he didn't even stay the night. By the time we woke up the next day, he had already left. He had sleeping in the spare room, but he had already left. And God sent me that man, that angel, to get me out of there. I know he did. Because, anybody else, hey, baby, you need a ride. But he wasn't even like that. He was nice. I could tell he had, he might have been a little slow. I don't think that's the right word. But anyway, or awkward. But very sweet. You know, and the fact that he just went and saw me and knew that I was in trouble and brought me back home, that's God. That was every bit of God. Because that was my bottom.
This is considered a parade because it is a combination of a parade and a march. In other news tonight, a teen faces
when you're being tied up and raped,
church burglary in Benton.
and you're out of it because they're drugging you on top of it.
Saturday, after witnesses saw two bikes parked behind the church and noticed
It's something you don't get over.
exit the basement door.
You can deal with it. Some days are worse than others. But one thing I can say is that even though I was a screwed up mess, God saw something in me worth saving. And He saved me so many times. You know, it's unreal. And that's why I make these videos. That's why, to show people that, you know, it doesn't matter who, what, you know, you're doing. God loves you. You know, Jesus hung out with prostitutes and tax collectors, okay? Because they're the ones that need Him most. Addicts and you know, criminals. They are the ones that need Jesus the most, and that need the rest of us to have a little bit of compassion about the stuff they may have gone through. And yes, you know, so we chose to be excuse me, we chose to do drugs. But if you know anybody, or if you have been addicted, you know, the things you do while you're under the influence of that addiction, that's not you. I look back now at some of the stuff I did, and let me tell you, I don't see how I did that. It amazes me that that was me. I can't, now that I'm on the other side of it, I mean, I'm just like, oh my word, you know. But no matter all my faults, all my failures, all my slips, you know, that was my wake-up call. And I'm not saying that ever since then I was straight and everything was rosy, but no, I went home. I made it home. And I've only been back to New Orleans once, and that was with a group of friends for New Year's, and we were there one night, and that was it. And it was hard for me to drive by that place. I started shaking and, you know, kind of pretty much having an anxiety attack. My point is that no matter what you're doing, what you have done, there's still hope. You know, I was lucky enough to get a second chance in life. And no, my road wasn't perfect. It still isn't perfect. But I am sober for many years. And I just thank God. It was Him, not me. And I still don't know why He thought that I was worth it. But I'm glad He did. You know, that allowed me to change my life around. And now I have 2 beautiful kids and a loving husband who would do anything for me. You know, I'm very lucky. And I have, quote unquote, a normal life. I don't know what, you know. I don't think normal is actually really normal. But anyway, God led me. And if you just allow Him, to say, hey, I am helpless and powerless over this addiction or behavior. Or even just if you're just tired of living incomplete, give him a chance. He has to be invited in. He's not going to force his way in. But if he can save a junkie that was fixing to die after being gang raped and beat and abused, I mean, if he saw hope in me after that, he can find hope in anybody. That was one of the darkest moments of my life. I never thought I would make it out. All I could think about was my son. Yes, I have a son. He was very young at the time, and that's why I needed to go back to Arkansas to begin with. I was going to visit him. They took my money from, that I've been saving up to get a plane ticket up. And of course, to my ex-husband, it looked like, oh, well, she's making this up to, whatever. But I never went into detail with him what happened, because it didn't matter what I say. I'm hoping and praying for everybody that watches this video. If you know somebody who is real bad into drugs, don't lose hope in them. They're still in there somewhere. And God can find it. And God can change it. I'm very thankful. Very thankful. Because I never thought I'd get out of there alive. God is great. God is good. All the time. And I feel that I need to express and tell people what he's done for me, because some of the things that he has done for me, like this, is completely out of this world. It's crazy. But he did it. And I got to give God all the glory. He did it. And if he can do it for me, he can do it for you. God bless.